Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast series where we explore ways to support and empower youth in leading healthier lives. I'm Max MacDonald, and I'll be your host for this journey into topics that matter to today's youth. In each episode, we'll dive into discussions about physical health, mental well being, professional development, and more. Our goal is to provide valuable insights, tips, and inspiration to help you live your best life. Through interviews with experts and practical advice, we aim to equip you with the tools needed to make positive choices and create a healthier future. So, whether you're looking to become healthier, manage stress, or navigate your path to professional success, join us as we embark on this empowering journey together. Get ready to live well and thrive, one episode at a time. Welcome to another episode of our Living Well podcast series that empowers youth to lead healthier lives. I'm Max MacDonald, and today we dive into the dynamic world of youth employment with our special guest, Dean Getson. Dean is a certified career development practitioner with 25 years of experience in helping others reach their academic and employment goals. He worked for 6 years as part of a nationally recognized youth outreach program and has a passion for seeing others achieve success. In his current role as program coordinator with PEI Career Development Services, he strives to stay on trend in an ever-changing world of programs, services, and supports available to CDS clientele across the island. He believes strongly in community development through volunteer work and continues to serve on many executive committees. He has always displayed a deep sense of commitment, especially for the youth of the area. In this episode, we'll explore valuable insights and strategies to help young individuals navigate the path of professional success. From preparing for the job market to leveraging mentorship and entrepreneurship opportunities, we'll uncover key aspects of launching a successful career. Get ready to gain actionable advice and inspiration for achieving your career goals in today's competitive landscape. Welcome, Dean. Thanks for being here. How can educational institutions better prepare students for the demands of the modern job market?
I love it. We're going to jump right into it, into the school system.
We're going right into the school system, starting from the start. People graduate when they're 17, 18, and they go, what am I going to do with my life?
Yeah, no, I like that. And I think it's human nature to look at the school system, Max. I really think, soft skill development and even early career exploration can start at home. I put some of the pressure back on the parents and back on the guardians. When we think about soft skill development and we think of things like communication and collaboration, problem solving, reading, writing, those can definitely start at home. But the school system, I've worked in the school system a number of years ago doing youth outreach work. My wife is an educator actually in the high school system here at West Isle. And I really think there's some gains that have been made in the secondary school system for sure, the high school. I look at that as a glass half full as opposed to half empty. There's a number of things I think in the compulsory classes that allow our students to gain some of those skill sets, some of those soft skills, some of those skills for success. I guess it's rebranded as nowadays from essential skills. In the compulsory classes of English and math and social studies and sciences, I think there's a real chance for the students to, explore. There's a real chance for them to develop presentation skills, to work as part of a team, to get up in front of the class and speak to a topic. I think some of that's being done. I think there's an opportunity there. The mandatory CEO class that's come in for island high schools, it's an incredible opportunity. I've been in to present to different schools across the island, and it presents an awesome opportunity for the students to look at things like career exploration, job search, resumes, interview skills, budgeting. The CEO class has evolved a lot from its inception, I guess. Whether the students realize the importance of some of those skills in grade 10 or not, I'm not sure. But I know we as parents definitely see the merits of classes like that. It's just a tremendous opportunity for them to start thinking beyond high school and into post-secondary. Education equals income equals style of life. So it gets them thinking about some of that stuff. It's a great opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of CEO, like the core CEO. It stands for Career Exploration and Opportunity.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I did that when I was in high school. Um, yeah, it was definitely helpful. I felt myself being pushed to do university after high school. I think a lot of people like me were also pushed to do that as well. And
Mhm.
I'm not trying to say that university school, high schools are pushing university, but do you think there's any specific, any like outside of the trades classes you can take in high school, do you think there's anything in any sort of push from high schools to push you towards a career after high school rather than education?
Yeah, I think for a long, long time, I think the high school system has pushed the university as the mainstream as the way to go. But I see some changes in that. In the job we do with career development services, if everyone finished high school and went off to university and graduated, our services would be obsolete, right? So
Right.
there's definitely still lots of students who are kind of going through high school. Some will go right into the labor market, which is great. Some will go off to post-secondary, university included, which is great. Um, some will take a gap year. I've been contacted. I had a family member contact me. Her daughter was a high academic, graduating high school, wasn't sure exactly what she wanted to do. And she's like, Dean, you have to get her, like, she has to go off to college. She has to go off to university. Like, if she takes a gap year, if she takes a year off, she'll never go. Well, if I were to talk to that person today, I think she really believes if she would have went right into post-secondary unprepared, she may not have been successful that first year. She took a gap year. She took a year off. She worked. She put money away for her post-secondary and went into nursing and hasn't looked back. You mentioned the trades too, Max, and I'm a big believer in the trades. I was part of an initiative that introduced Skills Canada to our local high school back in 99, 2000, not to date myself too much, but
Mhm.
um, a tremendous initiative to promote the trades as first choice career options. Um, so I'd like to think there's a bit of a switch among the high school to push careers onto the students. I like to think it's more giving them the ammunition they need to make their own decisions. And there's a lot of programs. The transitions program is another one at high school level that is incredible. Um, they do rotations among the trades, among healthcare, the IT business, and a family friend of mine, their son took it in grade 12 of this year, never considered the trades as an option. But after rotation, after taking a course at West Isle, he's going on to do electrical at Holland College. Never would have given it a thought had it
Mm.
not been for a program like the transitions program. So um, I think the tools are there for the students to figure it out. They still need guidance. They still need to rely on their counselors at school and their teachers and their networks. But I think the skills are there, or the resources are there for them to make good informed decisions.
Yeah, the exposure is very important, and school is a great place to do that. Speaking of after school, have you guys seen at CDS any particularly effective strategies for helping youth overcome any challenges they might face during their initial job search?
Yeah, so job search for me starts with preparation. We have a lot of people who kind of want to jump right in and get going on their job search, or maybe they take a job without researching the job. For me, it's about preparation, and I'm a bit of a quote guy, Max. So I think of a quote just to paraphrase it. Um, it's action without a plan is kind of a waste of time. A plan without action is futile, but when you put a plan and action together, that's when the magic happens.
Mm,
And we have lots of people who come in who are in that career transition piece. They're job searching out in the community, but they really don't have a plan or kind of an idea where they want to be. And a lot of times it's just through talking it out with them. It's about empowering them, um, never leading them. I always tell people it's their decision where they work. It's not ours. It's up to them because it has to make sense for them. But I think preparation is a real key. The second one, strategy that we like to talk about is just having a positive attitude, not being afraid to ask questions on the job site.
Mm,
Just a willingness to work, a willingness to, go above and beyond, realizing that no job is beneath them. I've been at this a long time, and I've had people come in and you can almost read their reaction. They think that I've parachuted behind my desk and I've been here my whole
mm,
career. And I chuckle at that, but I don't take offense to it. But little do they know I've worked in a sawmill. I've worked delivering Pepsi products. I've worked in a fish plant for 8 years. And every job has taught me something. Of course, you're going to have your bad days, but every job has taught me something. I think about my job working at the fish plant and the people I met who are lifelong friends. Um, I think about being in a job interview one time saying that I was responsible for $2 million of product in cold storage. And I was told after that that was one of the determining factors in me getting the job. And I thought, wow, when you talk about transferable skills,
mm.
we have this misconception about working at a fish plant or that's beneath us. You can learn something from every job you do.
Absolutely. Yeah, these are all important things. So I think that's very important is that there's a couple of key traits that everybody can have and they can bring to any job, and a lot of things they can take away from any job too. I think that's very important to keep in mind for everyone who's searching. Now,
Absolutely. Yeah.
can you discuss the role of mentorship programs and internships in shaping a young person's career trajectory?
Yeah. Mentorships, I think internship programs are key. The biggest thing I find about those is they have to be a key for both parties. They have to be a great fit for both the mentor and the mentee. Number one, I think if there's anything away from that, it just lends itself to opportunity to not work out. So I think the overarching goal is to be a positive experience for both sides. Um, I can think of an example where there was a young university student and they were hired to be a program coordinator for the summer. And they were so excited at the opportunity. Week one, they were painting picnic tables, cutting grass. Week two, they were painting fences, they were cleaning. By week three, they asked their mentor, who wasn't on site, like, when am I going to have the opportunity to, be this program coordinator? And the answer was, we had to put in a fancy title to get the funding. This is what we need you for.
Uh,
And I thought, what a wasted opportunity for both parties. Like she was just ready to get going and she had so many ideas and spent her summer just, basically doing maintenance.
mm,
And I think about that example as, you know, it gave her summer employment, it gave her experience, but not the experience she wanted it to be.
right. It's
Um,
disappointing every time. It's disappointing.
yeah, it was unfortunate for sure. But I mean, to realize that there's always a chance of that. Um, we talked about some of the school-based internships or mentorship programs like the transitions. There's also co-op based programs where students can go out and gather good work experience in exchange for credits. And those are key. A lot of those just shape those students and shape their outlook on maybe not that particular job, but just on the world of employment and careers. And a good experience is probably going to lead them down a path. And then in the community, I guess, Max, just to go on a little bit further, some of those community and internship programs,
Sure.
a lot of the local chambers of commerce have incredible internship opportunities. Federal government has a wonderful opportunity through the FSWEP, Federal Student Work Experience Program, I believe it is. You can work in places like Veterans Affairs Canada or CRA, Canada Revenue Agency, things like that. Um, Provincially, there's an excellent program for recent post-secondary graduates called the Graduate Mentorship Program that's facilitated through Skills PEI on the employer side, and we would work with the employee. But um, for recent post-secondary graduates, they can apply for work in their field of study and be funded up to a full year of subsidized funding where they can go and practice, you know, again in their field of study, valuable work experience for both parties.
Hmm.
So that's another example as well.
I just wanted to not interrupt because this is a fantastic section. It's kind of building on your section here, what you're just talking about. This is the one of the biggest strengths of going to go see CDS, is that you guys have knowledge about these different career paths, these different opportunities that most people just don't know about if they're looking these things up. I found out very recently. It might even been on this podcast. I really can't remember, but it was
Yeah.
that graduate program you were just talking about. Yeah, I could get it's a big benefit for anybody like me who's just graduated and is trying to find a job related to my field. It's a huge leg up over somebody else who is applying for the same thing. When you say that I can have a large portion of my wage subsidized by the government because of a opportunity that you learned about through CDS, that's something that you can use to show your advantage. That's a very valuable thing that you wouldn't know about otherwise had you not learned it from, likely CDS or anybody else who knows this information. So this is one of the most important things about CDS is they have
Yeah,
this knowledge.
it's incredible, and I mean, credit to our staff and our management group. I mean, we do what we can with professional development, and it's about learning every day. It's There are so many programs. My role as a program coordinator, so to stay on top of the programs that are coming and going is a challenge sometimes. But
Mm,
um, you're right. When you don't know, you don't know sometimes. So reaching out to CDS or some of the employment assistance services across the island, a lot of times it's just a phone call or a visit, and there may be something in there that sticks. I mean, that program is a great way to subsidize wages for a year. A lot of times it means a higher wage right within your wheelhouse, within your field of training. So that's just one example of an internship or a mentorship. There's other ones available for people in the trades. There's for employers, they can apply and have wages subsidized through a program called Easy 2K. So there's a whole host of them out there. It's
mm.
just we keep them in our toolbox and use them when relevant for sure.
Yeah, I think as our target audience being young people in PEI, I think this is a very across the board thing that everyone can get on board with is that CDS has this information that's quite important for most people trying to start their career is getting
Yeah,
their
no
foot in the
question.
door.
Yeah.
Speaking of young people starting their careers, how has the landscape for youth employment evolved over the years, and what skills are most valuable for their initial success?
Great question. I think the staples are still there. Things like, safety on the job site, practicing the soft skills, essential skills, skills for success. They're still relevant and very important.
Can you
Um,
speak about what some of those skills for success are, or maybe some of those soft skills?
yeah, absolutely. When I talk about soft skills, we think about um, things like I'll separate the two. A lot of times when we think of soft skills, we think of like punctuality, just showing up on time. We think about listening to direction. We think about reading and writing. The skills for success. Our son has actually competed in the Skills Canada, and he was fortunate enough to be selected to go off to nationals. And part of it is all around skills for success. So there's nine. I'll go over them quickly. I'll read them so I don't forget any. Writing, numeracy, communication, collaboration, problem solving, reading, digital use, collaboration, and adaptability.
Hmm.
So those are kind of the framework. I think that when we talk about skills for success, we talk about those nine. And at the national competition, he has to go and observe, and then he has to do a presentation on skills for success and how it revolves around career exploration. Um, but they are essential when you think about the staples of writing and numeracy and reading. Again, we go back to our development at home and our school system and preparing us. When we think about things like collaboration and communication, so much has been made of our the current generation and phones and tablets and forgetting the art of conversation and things like that. But
Hmm.
um, that's where I go back to the school system and say there's an opportunity for students, I think, to collaborate and do, in labs and teamwork and do presentations and oral presentations and things like that. When we think about digital use and the changing world of work, I'm using a lot of examples, but I can think of a client. He attended community college to do a 2-year program, computer programming. is what he went into. And he applied for work. His first job, he's working from his home, and he's making between 60 and $70,000 a year as a computer programmer. He's moved to New Brunswick, working for a PEI company, um, and he works out of his home. So I think things have changed a lot in some cases from some of the jobs over the years, but at the staple, it's those skills for success, and then you build on those and you build out into that career piece. For him, he just loves it. He thinks he's landed it big time,
Hmm.
and I can think of other clients as well that have come into our office, Max, and they're looking for work, and just those work from home options that have presented themselves. I have another guy who he makes appointments for car, making appointments for car maintenance and things like that, like from BC to Newfoundland, a national chain, and he works from home, just scheduling in appointments. That's all he does.
Wow.
But again, it works for him. He has some physical disabilities that affect his ability to go out and work outside the home. So it's an opportunity that he's embraced, and it's one that's come up just in the last few years. He has the technology at home to do it, and that's another example of how things have evolved.
Right. So there are still like a specific set of skills that are important, and they were mentioned earlier. And as for any like new skills that are valuable for success, can you think of any off the top of your head?
Yeah, I think outside of those soft skills that we think about, I think just um, being able to adapt, being able to, I think apply knowledge. I think about the healthcare sector, and for a lot of people who want to work in the healthcare sector, we think of doctors and nurses. A few years ago, they came out with a booklet, and I think there's going to be a digital booklet now. And it's just full of alternates, like other careers in the healthcare sector that maybe we haven't really thought of. On the magnetic resonance technologist, what the heck is that? Well,
Hmm.
if you go to their booklet, it'll give you everything you need to know, where you can find schooling, salary expectations, and things like that. It's just a really neat read, and it gives lots of people. I've had people into the office just go through the booklet and go, wow, that's something I've never thought of doing, like prosthetic work. Like
Hmm.
they never thought of getting into that field, and they've gone into that field. So I think just to encourage people to kind of look over the fence and think outside the box a little bit.
Another area that CDS can really help with just the knowledge of these fields, or getting people the awareness that these careers even exist. So
Just to
important.
put them out there. Yeah, just to put them out there. And again, it's not to lead anyone. At the end of the day, it's up to the person in front of us to make those decisions. But
Exactly.
in a lot of ways, it's kind of like being an information broker, if you will, and just making sure they understand what is available.
Yeah, and that's a very, very important service to have, especially for a place like PEI, where there's so many things you don't even think about that you could go and do. Like I think of PEI as a very small place with not that many careers, but there's plenty of career options out there for everybody.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's one of the misnomers about, and I love hearing that from clients. There's nothing to do here.
Mm.
There's no opportunity, but when you start to see what their skill sets are and their interests are, if they're willing to retrain, tremendous opportunity right here in our own backyard. There really is.
Right.
Um, yeah,
Are there any
sure.
specific initiatives or programs that support young entrepreneurs in launching and sustaining their business ventures?
There are, and I'll start with just a couple of grassroots ones, but they're ones that I just see tremendous growth in. So there's one called I Want to Be a Millionaire. So if we're starting with youth, we're talking, you know, elementary, junior high age youth, and a lot of these, where they're given $100 or $200 for a partnership to start their own business. So these are the roadside stands that you see, little canteens spring up. I've seen people sell chickens. I've seen people. I coordinated one year, and the young guy made $3,500 making wind chimes.
Oh,
Now he had help from his dad, obviously, to cut the pipe and string them together, but $3,500 he made, and that was a few years ago. So the really neat thing is he's finished school, he's finished post-secondary, and he's an entrepreneur. He has 2 or 3 different business entities going right now. And I really believe it's from his exposure um, in the I Want to Be a Millionaire program. So it's a dandy little program that runs across the island. I think about junior achievement and all that they do in the high schools, the junior highs across the island. Um, I just saw on social media the owner of a local Moe's Independent Grocer in Alberton he was involved in junior achievement in high school, and then he was approached by them to mentor an entrepreneurial class from West Isle, and they've all done business startups, and he's mentored them. So again, it's just some of the students I've seen business ideas and have included small garden plots. I've seen window washing. I've seen cleaning gutters, and they're being hired out in the community as part of their program. So I think props to junior achievement and all that they do for the high schools. And then when you get outside of high schools, there's things through the local CBDC offices. They have a suite of programs, but there's youth business loans to encourage youth entrepreneurship. There's a program nationally called Futurepreneur. And again, it offers advice on where to start, core startups, funding, that sort of stuff. What else? Innovation PEI has their Ignition Fund. It's wide open, but youth entrepreneurs can take advantage of that. I think it's $25,000 that they can apply to and receive if selected based on their idea. The Skills PEI has an excellent program called the Self-Employed Program to promote business startup. A lot of those would be your small to medium enterprise, but again, just there's so many to go through in such a short time, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff out there available.
Is there any place we can go to find these things online if we're really curious?
I think just individually, some of those sites, Junior Achievement, Futurepreneur, Innovation PEI. I think if you just do a quick Google search, and I don't know if there's one-stop shopping. I will give a shout out to the Employment Journey. They do a really good job to promote some of these programs in their publications, and they may have a bank of information on their site as well. Again, our CDS offices across the island may have some of that information. It's just yeah, it's out there. I guess it's just a matter of accessing it for sure.
Absolutely. And CDS can answer any question you have about this, guys. Just go in.
Yeah.
and-
We'll put the
Anyways,
pressure on all of our staff for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely. It's all on the staff now. I've done my job.
Yeah.
All right. And just before we wrap up, is there anything that you wanted to speak about that we haven't touched on so far today?
No, listen, Max, this is great. When the opportunity came down the chain and I was asked if I would do it. I was a little nervous doing a podcast, but I just have such a passion for youth. Having worked with youth in the past, having a couple of children in that demographic right now, and just seeing some of the questions that they have. I love what you're doing with the podcast and the different areas that you're exploring. What I would say is that just to plug our own career development services, we have offices across the island from Surrey, Montague, Charlottetown, Summerside, Mill River, and Tignish. We are a free and confidential service. I stress free. There's never a charge to anything we do. And anyone can come in for one appointment at least and find out about who we are and the services that we provide. So anything that we can do, I guess, to help this next generation along. And it's important to know that we work with students, our demographic, our clientele really are out of school, unemployed, age wise, it's like 16 not in school to 75, 78. It's we have lots of folks coming in to see us for different needs and wants, but
Not just youth, folks. So if you're not a youth who's listening to this podcast, even you're allowed to go to this.
that's correct. Yeah.
Has
Any moms or dads that are listening to this or family members, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, that's fantastic. Thank you very much for all of the nice things said about the podcast. We are more than happy to have guests like you on the show. We really appreciate all the expertise and information you can give to our listeners. Any listeners who are listening, and you are just on PEI, you want to work on PEI, but you're not sure where to start. CDS, as Dean said, it is a provincial service, completely anonymous and free. Go check it out. That's part of my call to action for you if you're looking for work and you want to stay on PEI. Well, okay. Well, thanks a bunch, Dean. This has been a fantastic episode. I really appreciate it.
Sounds great. Thanks, Max.
No problem.